A week ago, I was going to ask the woman I loved to marry me. 3 days later, I left her alone in the mountains and drove home with the ring still in my pocket. And what happened after that? I still can't fully process it. My name's Ryan. I'm 28, and until last weekend, I thought I knew exactly where my life was heading. My girlfriend Ava and I had been together for 5 years. 5 years, that's long enough to know someone's coffee order, the way they laugh when they're trying not to, and the exact look on their face when something's wrong before they even say a word. 5 years of building a life, talking about the future, surviving hard seasons, and somehow always finding our way back to each other. I thought we were solid. I thought we were building something real. So for our anniversary, I decided to do something big. Not flashy, not over the top, just meaningful. For nearly 4 months, I planned a trip to a small ski town in Vermont. I booked everything myself: a cabin tucked into the mountains, snow-covered streets, ski runs during the day, late-night walks through the village, hot chocolate by the fire. The kind of place people go when they want to make a memory that lasts forever. And that was exactly what I wanted. I mapped out every detail, checked and rechecked reservations, planned dinners, picked out a quiet overlook above a frozen lake. That spot mattered, because that's where I was going to propose. Yeah, I had the ring. I kept it hidden in my bag for almost 2 weeks before we left. And the night before the trip, I remember standing alone in the bathroom, staring at that little box in my hand. My heart was pounding so hard, it felt like I was about to jump off a cliff. I was nervous, but more than that, I was hopeful. This was supposed to be our moment, the kind of moment you remember when everything else in life gets blurry. Then, 5 days before we were supposed to leave, everything changed. Ava came into the kitchen while I was making coffee. She sounded casual, almost too casual. She said, "Hey, I invited Chloe and Madison to meet us there." I actually laughed. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. I just stood there with the mug in my hand, trying to figure out if I'd heard her right. I said, "Wait, what?" And she told me they'd already booked their rooms, already arranged the drive, already made plans. My stomach dropped. I asked why she didn't talk to me first. She shrugged and said, "It'll still be fun." Fun. That word hit me harder than it should have, because this wasn't supposed to be just fun. This wasn't some random getaway. This was our anniversary, a trip I had spent months planning for us. For us. Our time. Our space. I told her that. I told her how much this trip meant to me. I told her I wanted time alone with her, that I had planned something private, something special. But she barely seemed moved. She kept saying her friends were excited, that they had already rearranged things, that I was making too big a deal out of it, that I needed to relax. And in that moment, I could feel something shifting. The whole trip, the whole energy, like the thing I had built in my head for months, was already slipping through my fingers before we had even packed the car. I should have fought harder. I know that now. But I didn't. I told myself not to ruin it. I told myself to be flexible. I told myself maybe I was overreacting. Maybe we'd still get our moments. Maybe it would work out. So I swallowed it, packed my bag, and went. Big mistake. From the second we got there, I knew I was no longer part of the plan. Her friends treated the trip like a reunion, and Ava treated it like I was just another person tagging along. Breakfast? Her friends. Skiing? Her friends. Drinks after dinner? Her friends. Afternoons disappeared. Dinner turned into loud conversations I wasn't really part of. Every time I tried to pull her aside, something else came up. "Give me a second. We're just finishing this. Come on, don't make it weird." Don't make it weird. Meanwhile, I had a ring in my pocket and a speech in my head I'd rewritten 100 times. I kept waiting for the private moment that never came. I kept waiting for the chance to speak to her alone. I kept waiting for the perfect opening to ask the one question that would change both our lives. Day 1 passed, then day 2, then day 3, and at some point, I stopped feeling angry. That was the part that scared me, because anger means you still expect something. I didn't. I just felt invisible, like I was standing in the middle of my own life, watching somebody else live it. And by the third morning, something in me cracked. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly. The kind of crack you feel deep in your chest when you realize you're standing in a room full of people and somehow still completely alone. So while everyone was asleep, I booked a ride home. No drama, no shouting, no scene. I packed quietly. When Ava saw my bag by the door, she looked confused. She said, "What are you doing?" And for the first time all weekend, I told her the truth. I said, "I'm leaving." She stared at me like I had insulted her. I told her I didn't come all this way to be the extra person on a trip I planned. I told her this was supposed to be about us, that I had planned something intimate, something meaningful, and for 3 days, I felt like I didn't matter. She got angry fast, really fast. Then she told Chloe and Madison, and suddenly it was 3 against 1. They said I was ruining the trip. They said everyone was having a great time. They said I was making her choose between me and her friends. But that wasn't it. That was never it. I never asked her to choose. Her friends were never supposed to be part of this in the first place. I wasn't trying to control her. I wasn't trying to isolate her. I just wanted one thing, one trip, one memory, one moment that belonged to us. That's all. I got in the car, and I left. The whole drive home, the ring stayed in my jacket pocket. I must have touched that little box 20 times. Not because I was going to use it, just because I couldn't believe how close I'd been. Now I'm back at the apartment. It's quiet, too quiet. Ava still hasn't come home. A couple of my friends came by earlier and stayed with me for a while. They said they didn't like how this was unfolding. Honestly, neither do I. I spent tonight writing down everything I need to say when she walks through that door. Every word, every feeling, every question I've been too afraid to ask. Because I don't want anger speaking for me. I want clarity. But there's one thing I still don't understand. What exactly did she think was going to happen when she told me her friends were coming? And then, about an hour ago, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Ava. Just one sentence. And after reading it, I realized this trip may not have been ruined by her friends. It may have been ruined long before we ever left. And what she said next changed everything.